The scene opens with a dramatic, almost cinematic shot of a secluded, high-tech laboratory nestled in the middle of a dense forest. The laboratory's imposing structure is bathed in harsh, artificial lights, casting long, ominous shadows. Two members that run the lab, Dr. Baek and Mr. Choi, are seen pacing anxiously, their faces tense and troubled. The camera shifts to a chaotic scene in the containment area. Broken glass, scattered equipment, and bloodstains create a sense of destruction and disorder. The containment unit, once a secure facility, is now in ruins. Amidst the wreckage, the young girl, no more than 10 years old, is seen crawling through the debris, her face pale and her clothes tattered. Her breathing is labored, and she clutches her side in pain. She's visibly traumatized, her eyes wide with fear and determination. She looks around desperately, trying to find an escape route from the nightmarish scene. Dr. Baek and Mr. Choi declared the young child dead after a thorough search yielded no results. The scene transitions to a serene rural setting as dawn begins to break. The camera captures the tranquil beauty of the countryside, with rolling fields, a rustic farmhouse, and the soft light of the early morning sun. The farm owner, Mr. Gu, a middle-aged man with a rugged, kind demeanor, is seen working in the fields. Suddenly, Mr. Gu notices something unusual in the distance, a small, crumpled figure lying near the edge of their property. His expression shifts from curiosity to concern as he approaches. The camera focuses on the young girl, barely conscious and covered in mud and rain, her body curled into a fetal position. Mr. Gu carefully lifts the girl, his face a mix of concern and determination. He carries her toward the farmhouse. Inside the farmhouse, the atmosphere is warm and inviting. The contrast between the harshness of the lab and the coziness of the farmhouse underscores the safety and care the Gu family offers. The camera captures Mrs. Gu tending to the girl with gentle hands, carefully cleaning her wounds and offering her food and comfort. A decade has passed since the harrowing events that marked Ja-yoon's early years. Now, she lives under a new identity, seemingly free from her traumatic past. Her life, though quiet, is far from easy. The once vibrant and hopeful young girl has grown into a young woman facing daily struggles. Ja-yoon's family is in a dire financial situation. Her mother's deteriorating health has placed an added burden on them. Their savings have dwindled, and medical bills pile up, stretching their limited resources thin. Ja-yoon, determined to help her family, works part-time jobs but struggles to make ends meet. In addition to the financial strain, Ja-yoon suffers from debilitating headaches that come and go unpredictably. These headaches seem to be connected to a lingering, unspoken past that she cannot fully remember. Despite her best efforts to ignore them, the pain disrupts her daily life and adds to her growing anxiety. On the way to school, she was told about the ongoing national singing contest Birth of a Star by her friend Myung-hee and the daughter of a village police officer. In an effort to earn money, she decides to audition for a national singing contest that promises a huge cash prize. During the audition, Ja-yoon performs with a captivating intensity that is further amplified by an inexplicable talent. As she sings, her telekinetic power causes the microphone to levitate, a spectacle that leaves the judges astonished. Her performance is both mesmerizing and unsettling, hinting at a hidden depth that even Ja-yoon doesn't fully understand. The display of Ja-yoon's telekinetic ability catches the attention of Dr. Baek and Mr. Choi, two figures from her past who have been searching for her ever since her escape. The realization that the girl they once experimented on has re-emerged forces them to act quickly. They know that Ja-yoon's extraordinary abilities are crucial to their plans and are unwilling to let her slip through their fingers again. As Dr. Baek and Mr. Choi mobilize their resources, the danger surrounding Ja-yoon becomes more imminent. The quiet life she has fought so hard to maintain is about to be shattered once more. With her past resurfacing and her enemies closing in, Ja-yoon faces a new and even more perilous chapter in her life, one that will force her to confront the truths she has long tried to forget. Ja-yoon, still basking in the excitement of her successful audition, sits quietly on a bus heading to Seoul for the second round along with her friend Myung-hee. The bus is filled with passengers, each absorbed in their own activities. Ja-yoon's face reflects a mix of anticipation and nervousness. While traveling, a male witch passenger approaches her and tries to get her to reflect on her past, of which she is hazy about. Ja-yoon proceeds to the audition venue, her encounter with male witch lingering in her mind. She performs once again, impressing the judges with her unique talent. The performance is intense and captivating. She takes home the $50,000 winnings while her pal celebrates their success. After the audition, Ja-yoon exits the venue. A man in a dark, well-tailored suit approaches her. His demeanor is mysterious and authoritative. This is Nobleman. Nobleman, casually, yet with an edge. Ja-yoon, I believe we need to talk. I know about your past. Ja-yoon's initial reaction is one of confusion and alarm. She stops, her eyes narrowing as she assesses the stranger. Nobleman's claim about knowing her raises her anxiety, and she becomes wary of his intentions. With the assistance of Myung-hee, she quickly manages to escape. As she makes her way back to her home, she becomes increasingly aware of being followed. Her senses are heightened, and she quickens her pace, but her attempts to evade her pursuers prove futile. Back at the farmhouse, the scene is tranquil. The quiet is shattered when a group of armed men, sent by Dr. Baek, force their way into the home. Driven by a surge of adrenaline, she enters a trance-like state, her eyes glowing with a strange intensity. With a burst of superhuman strength and speed, she confronts the armed men. The confrontation is swift and brutal. Ja-yoon dispatches the intruders with a combination of force and precision, her abilities manifesting in ways she has not fully understood. The scene is both thrilling and disorienting, as Ja-yoon's actions leave the intruders incapacitated and the room in disarray. After the fight, Ja-yoon is left shaken and disoriented. The toll of her powers is evident as she struggles to comprehend the extent of her abilities. She turns to face her friend Myung-hee, who is both relieved and afraid about what happened in their house. Nobleman appears again, his demeanor cold and commanding. He demands that Ja-yoon accompany him, threatening to kill her parents if she refuses. The weight of his threat forces Ja-yoon to make a harrowing decision. Ja-yoon, overwhelmed by the threat and her own confusion, reluctantly agrees. She follows Nobleman out of the house, her mind racing as she faces the unknown. Ja-yoon arrives at the laboratory, where she is subjected to the cold, clinical environment she had once escaped from. The laboratory's sterile and intimidating atmosphere contrasts sharply with the warmth of the farmhouse she left behind. Ja-yoon is strapped to a high-tech medical bed in the sterile, cold environment of the laboratory. The room is filled with advanced medical equipment and ominous machinery. Dr. Baek, looking authoritative and clinical, stands nearby with a calm but sinister demeanor. Nobleman stands in the corner, watching intently. Dr. Baek explains she was the one who created her. She was genetically engineered to possess extraordinary powers. Her headaches are not merely a side effect, they are a symptom of a fatal disease that they engineered. Without treatment, this disease will claim your life. Ja-yoon's eyes widen as she processes this revelation. Her voice is shaky, laced with a mixture of anger and disbelief. They inject Ja-yoon with the blue serum. Her face contorts in pain as the serum enters her bloodstream. As the effects of the serum begin to take hold, her physical discomfort gradually subsides, and her demeanor shifts noticeably. Ja-yoon's expression hardens as she absorbs this information. A flashback or a series of rapid, disjointed images of her past may play briefly, showing moments of her life that led to this point. The camera returns to her face as her expression transitions from confusion to resolve. Ja-yoon revels that she knew everything all along and staged the audition magic abilities to draw Dr. Baek's attention as she needed to find her, to find a way to survive. The doctor told her that without a bone marrow transplant from a blood relative, she only have a few months left to live. That's why she sought her out. Dr. Baek's expression shifts from clinical detachment to one of cold realization. The camera focuses on Ja-yoon's resolute face, highlighting her determination to confront her creators and take control of her fate. The scene closes with a tension-filled silence, emphasizing the stakes and the conflict that has been set in motion. Ja-yoon's struggle is far from over, and her journey to seek answers and a cure has just begun. After Ja-yoon receives the serum, it revitalizes her, restoring her to full strength and clarity. With her newfound power, she seizes the moment. In a dramatic and intense sequence, she breaks free from her restraints and swiftly overpowers her guards with both superhuman strength and agility. The scene is charged with high stakes as Ja-yoon confronts Dr. Baek, holding her at gunpoint. Her demand is clear and urgent. She wants to know where the serum is produced, as it's the key to her survival. Just as the tension reaches its peak, Mr. Choi arrives on the scene. His entrance is marked by a false sense of hope for the antagonists, but it quickly turns to despair as Ja-yoon, driven by desperation and a fierce sense of justice, eliminates him effortlessly. The ease with which she deals with Mr. Choi highlights her formidable power and determination. In the midst of the chaos, Ja-yoon also faces off against noblemen who had previously threatened her family. The confrontation is fierce, but Ja-yoon's abilities give her the upper hand, leading to noblemen's defeat. During this upheaval, Dr. Baek's fate is sealed in the turmoil. Her death occurs almost as a collateral effect of the chaotic battle, underscoring the destructive consequences of her own actions. With her enemies vanquished and the laboratory in ruins, Ja-yoon sets the building ablaze, symbolizing the end of her torment and the destruction of her past. Her next move is deeply personal. She returns to her parents, now aware of their struggles. In a poignant and emotional scene, she provides her father with a vial of the serum. This serum is not just for her own survival but also to help her mother, whose dementia is worsening. By giving the serum to her father, she hopes to slow down her mother's condition, demonstrating her continued love and commitment to her family despite the chaos. As the scene closes, there's a revealing moment between Ja-yoon and her father. He alludes to having always known about Ja-yoon's extraordinary abilities. This subtle revelation hints at a deeper, unspoken understanding and connection between them, adding a layer of complexity to their relationship. 3 months have passed since the dramatic events that shattered Ja-yoon's life. The film transitions to a more serene setting, contrasting sharply with the chaos we've seen before. Ja-yoon, now more composed and seemingly in control, arrives at a secluded and dimly lit home. This home belongs to Dr. Baek's twin sister, who has been mentioned but never seen until now. Ja-yoon approaches the twin sister with a sense of grim purpose. She holds out several vials of the serum, the same serum that had kept her alive and played a crucial role in her recent battles. The twin sister, appearing both intrigued and apprehensive, takes the vials from Ja-yoon. This act symbolizes not only a continuation of the serum's cycle but also a moment of ambiguous intent. The audience is left wondering about the true nature of this exchange, whether it signifies a potential alliance, a manipulation, or a new phase in Ja-yoon's quest for answers. Just as the exchange seems to conclude, a new character emerges from the shadows, a mysterious young woman whose face is concealed by a network of deep, unsettling scars. Her presence adds an immediate sense of danger and intrigue. The camera focuses on her as she moves closer to Ja-yoon, her intentions unclear but her demeanor menacing. Ja-yoon, however, is not one to be easily intimidated. With a fierce glare and a voice cold with warning, she threatens the scarred woman. The threat is explicit: if the woman dares to touch her, Ja-yoon will kill her. This confrontation emphasizes Ja-yoon's readiness to protect herself and her boundaries at all costs, highlighting her unyielding resolve and the lingering mistrust she carries. As Ja-yoon's threat hangs in the air, the screen abruptly cuts to black. We are left with suspense, forcing to grapple with questions about the scarred woman's role, the implications of the serum's distribution, and Ja-yoon's future actions.